United Nations officials are condemning Israel after it started demolishing UNRWA's headquarters there. Video shows bulldozers tearing down structures inside the compound in East Jerusalem. Israel banned UNRWA from operating on its territory after some employees were found to be involved in the October 7th attack. UNRWA has denied knowingly aiding Hamas and any systematic involvement, but it did fire 9 staff members over those allegations after an internal oversight investigation. Now, the Palestinian Authority's Jerusalem Governorate and UN Commission General are calling Israel's demolition a blatant violation of international law. Let's bring in ABC national security and defense analyst Mick Mulroy for more. Hi, Mick. So Israel says it owns this Jerusalem compound and that it doesn't have immunity, but the Jerusalem Governorate and UNRWA Commissioner General say that that's not true because it's a UN site. So what does international law say here?
So, Diane, as you said, that Israel banned UNRWA because they believe they had ties to Hamas in the attack against Israel on October 7th. And these were abandoned, so there was nobody actually in them. But under UN resolution, East Jerusalem is, as they say, occupied. So it is not property, if you will, territory of Israel. And under the Geneva Convention, the fourth one to be specific, UN property should not even be searched, let alone destroyed, without the consent of the United Nations. So under international law, that one specifically, this would have been a violation. I'm sure Israel would contest that.
Meanwhile, Russia, Belarus, and Hungary say they've been invited to be a part of Trump's Board of Peace to oversee Gaza. What's your reaction to that?
So it's unclear exactly where this peace board is going. Most thought it was about specifically the Gaza reconstruction, and it had a defined term. It looks like now it's much broader. It could be any conflict, and it has no defined term. And ultimately, many are now saying it could essentially be an alternative to the United Nations, but one in which the only country, or individual, I should say, that has a veto is the United States and President Trump. So those countries, especially Russia that you mentioned, or at least Russia, does have a veto on the UN Security Council. So it's unclear why they'd want an alternative to that, and one in which they don't actually have a veto. The only person that does, not country, is President Trump.
The Washington Post is also reporting countries would have to pay a $1 billion fee for permanent membership on the board. What do you think that money will be used for?
So it doesn't specify, Diane. Most would have assumed that it is for the reconstruction of Gaza, which is going to be in the tens of billions of dollars, if not $100 billion, quite frankly. But it doesn't specify that. I imagine most countries aren't going to sign on to use their own country's resources for an ill-defined, if not defined, purpose. So this is going to have a lot of questions at Davos, I'm sure, both on the intent, the duration, how this would actually work. According to what's written, President Trump would stay the chairman of this even after leaving office. So it's not even specific to the United States being the chairman, but President Trump himself. So I imagine there's going to be a lot of questions for the U.S. delegation, specifically the president, at the summit in Davos.
All right, Mick Mulroy, thank you.